Focusing on the player side of it, players like Ben Foden and Ashton that you've mentioned have both come out quite publicly after the Olympics saying they desperately want to be a part of the Olympic 7 squad. Realistically, having recently interviewed Ollie Phillips and his perspective of how the attitude towards fitness has completely transformed, and he suggests that he's never quite been as fit as he is today. Do you think realistically Ben Foden and Ashton could, finance being separate from the conversation, actually make that squad? Not necessarily in terms of their talent, but in terms of the requirements that they would have to go through to actually make the England 7 team. Do you think it's realistic that they aim for it?
Taking the financial bit to one side, which is a big part, and then you take the career aspirations, have you tick the boxes you need to tick in your rugby life. If it came down to, as athletes, are they capable of doing the conditioning in order to get their body in a place where they need to compete? Yeah, I mean, I know both of them well, having worked with both of them on the 7 circuit. Chris from an invitational side with Samurai, and Ben internationally with England. It's a state of mind. If you apply yourself to your conditioning in the game of 7s, which is going to places that you don't like to go, being prepared to suffer and enjoying it, which is ultimately the fundamental basics of being successful in conditioning in 7s, then yeah, absolutely. And what you find with the younger players, the development players, when we went to, for example, when we went to the Commonwealth Games in 2006, is that young arrogance or hunger and desire to be the best means that you drive yourself from fitness and drive yourself to places you don't want to go. But when you're an established international, you've been around the block, you've done it all, and you suddenly take for granted the fact you're in the 7s arena, and you think, well, it'll just happen, it'll be easy. That's when you get found out, and that happened to a number of the Australians that played in 2006, the likes of Takiri, who thought this was going to be a breeze, and they got pushed to places they didn't want to go, and they didn't want to go, and they... So it is a state of mind and application on the conditioning front. So the answer to your question is, are they capable? Absolutely, they're capable. The only thing that will restrict them will be their minds if they choose not to do it.
Do you think they'd have to forfeit participation in 15s for a period of time to be able to do that?
Yes, absolutely. I think this is it's a 12 to 18 month forfeit or sabbatical from the 15s game, or commitment to the 7s game in order to achieve that jig. But it comes back to that financial part, because of this, take Ben. Yeah. He's Ben Foden, he's got a stakeholder with Northampton, with England, etc. And then that will have a financial implication and potentially an international implication. Now, if he's allowed to do all 3, brilliant. Then it's easy for Ben to make a decision, of course he will. But if he can't, then he's got to sit back and make a decision about how important is it being in Rio, as opposed to his contract and playing for England and Northampton at the same time. So there's a lot of personal choices there, because I don't think what is clear is you're going to be able to do all 3.